Hello. This is the 110th Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2223, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. And this is one of those episodes where we don't speak about some specific device or some specific technology.
No, we're on a field trip.
We're live. It's another live episode. Not specifically because maybe the listeners like it, because we like it.
Gets us out and about.
Exactly. So today we're live at World Messel. So what is it?
Right, World Messel. So it's a museum combined with a theme park. It's built on the site of what used to be an excavation place where they dug up fossils, mostly of dinosaurs, but also of other extinct animals. And the reason it's no longer an excavation site and it's now a museum plus theme park is that the animals which were extinct have been brought back, and now you can visit with them.
Yes, and we thought that would be good enough because it's done with technology, and we like to speak about technology. So let's go visit the theme park.
Exactly, and speak to the dinosaurs and whatnot.
Totally.
And right, as well as so I mentioned, and mostly they're really large animals, but you even have some tiny little mini horses.
Yeah,
those are extra fun too.
I think that's how they became famous. Even
yeah, exactly. The dinosaurs, no one really cared about. The woolly mammoths, whatever. But when there were these miniature horses, that's really captured the imagination of everyone.
And they weren't even minified; they were like
right. Oh yeah, right. They were
legit.
Shrunk down. Exactly, they were originally so mini.
Exactly, they were supposed to be like. That's even in the logo. If you look at the World Messel logo, there's like a skeleton of a miniature.
Like the skull, the skull of a mini horse. It's good stuff.
But I think by now they've branched out to everything, right?
Yeah,
they even have megafauna and
as well.
All kinds of dinosaurs. And
they get you in with the mini horses, and then there also happen to be dinosaurs and woolly mammoths and so on.
Kind of like upselling. It's like you like miniature horses. You probably also like massive mooses.
There's a logical progression. And right now, so we've been around a little bit. Right now we're recording. It's a bit rude to be recording while other people are trying to pay attention to exhibits or animals and so on. So right now we're in the cafe where we can speak and record.
And it's also nice because it's a little bit quieter in the cafe as well. I mean, you can probably still hear it in the background, but
occasionally maybe a roar will come through or something, or a trumpeting or whatever. But it's quieter here than it would be out in the main area.
And of course we have to sit somewhere to record, and then we might as well pick the cafe because
some cake here, some coffee.
Exactly. Then it's just we have to order some muffins if we can't just record here. We have to order some, and then we can just say the business expense.
That too. We're getting pretty good at this podcasting business.
Exactly. It's just like that's part of it. And they have some really cool Congos here, so they can produce a whole lot of interesting food. Apparently, they use the same Congos to produce dinosaur food, are the same ones that they use in the cafe to produce our food.
Exactly, so you can get period-appropriate food, meaning, it's a quiche, but rather than being made of vegetables and eggs from our time in 2223, it uses the appropriate plants and such from whichever era the creature you feel like eating. You're not eating the creature, but you know what I mean. Like you've just visited the woolly mammoths, then you want the plants that were around when woolly mammoths were around.
I think that's a pretty creative thing, and I have to say, the food does taste different. If they tell me this is because the plants that we evacuated from millions of years ago, we brought them back to life, and now they're produced inside your food. Okay, I guess.
Could be a slightly different recipe, a bit more salt here or whatever, but no.
Or maybe
whatever the reason, it has a different taste, a different texture too, from at least the kind of food I'm used to eating elsewhere.
And it's like if it has a prehistoric spinach in it, which then ended up tasting exactly like our modern spinach, but then they put a whole bunch of salt in it. It's like, wow, this tastes completely different. This must be the prehistoric part of it. Ever wonder why it's called prehistory?
I mean, history is sort of recorded history. So prehistory is before there were people around to record it. It has been my assumption.
Okay, so because I thought history is everything that ever happened, and prehistory is whatever happened before.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but no, not just everything that's happened, but that's been recorded. So, prehistory would be before it's recorded, which does bring up a point because now that we have dinosaurs and so on from hundreds of millions of years ago, and of course they have their memories, and of course we can speak with them. So now it's no longer prehistory because they can actually tell us.
True.
There are historians working with the dinosaurs to write down what happened all that time ago.
The further our technology advances, the shorter the prehistory becomes because we'll find out more and more about it.
Exactly. I mean, there are gaps here and there, but
I wonder then if what we're doing at the moment is after history for the people that are listening. Because
for our listeners 200 years ago, this is post-history.
A post-history. Nice. So you have the prehistory, then you have the history, and then you have the post-history where we are.
Exactly, and just our listeners get to hear that.
True. Exclusive, some exclusive post-history.
Exactly, they're in an exclusive club.
Okay, that could be our marketing slogan. Exclusive post-history.
Folk listening to us in the past, feel free to spread the word. You don't have to be so exclusive.
True. Before we go all semantic, shall I mention the reason why we're here?
Beyond the coffee and cake.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a filter. Yeah, please do.
Because we've been here a few times. It's really relatively close to Frankfurt, and of course, if it wasn't, we would just teleport here. But it's they have a bunch of dinosaurs here, as we mentioned, and several other animals. And recently, they've added a new dinosaur.
Exactly.
And we wanted to go see it.
Yeah.
And it was not just a dinosaur; it's an octopus. And I'm saying an octopus because initially there was actually just one.
Right.
One dinosaur called the octopus. They had a few of them. Basically, whenever they find enough, let's say, of one, then they bring it back to life, and then they put it in the park for us to see it. It's a pretty big dinosaur, meat-eating dinosaur, let's say T-Rex style.
Yeah, in that vein, yeah.
Exactly, in that area, that family. But initially, they thought it was just one kind, but then they started reviving more, and it turned out that the original ones that they had, they were kind of greenish, but then they had one that was kind of reddish.
Right, they found a new variety, and exactly, instead of having green skin, it's got red skin.
Yeah, and genetically very similar, but different.
But from their skeleton, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Yeah. Just once they are brought back.
Yeah, exactly. So they've now figured out the difference, and now they've revived the first one. So except a few green octopuses, they now have one red one, and that's new. And they make a big marketing deal out of it. They have big campaigns here in the lobby, which is basically an open space bordering the cafe. They have big banners, and they had a whole campaign with videos and so on. And then on all the big banners is the red octopus, really looking really impressive with its mouth open. And then we haven't actually gone to see it yet.
But we'll go in a bit. Figured we'd record this now and then go check it out.
And it's not like they opened or they released it yesterday or so. It's been there for several weeks, months maybe.
I think since the beginning of the year even.
Oh, could be. It's the 23rd, the 22-23 edition to the theme
exactly.
park.
Every year they always have some new edition.
Yeah, makes sense. Or some new megafauna or so.
And especially in the new year when people have you have some time off work and you go, hey, I'm going to go to some museums. So more and more people, at least for a few weeks there, really want to go to the museums. That's the time they need to stand out from the crowd. So they have a new dinosaur.
And of course, if you have a subscription and, okay, I've seen it all, you don't renew your subscription or you cancel your subscription. And often, I guess at the end of the year, people consider, hey, which kind of subscription should I cancel? And then in the new year, there will be, and then the red octopus. And of course, we've seen the green ones, and apparently it's pretty much the same, but red, but still, I mean, I don't know that many red dinosaurs, actually.
Yeah, no, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
And it's also
they're mostly blue, yeah? Purpley blue?
Purpley blue.
For the most part. And then sure, a bit of green here, a bit of yellow over there. Yeah, orange of course. But red is pretty rare.
Yeah. And of course, like it's red, but it's not like what's typically red. Not like
this cushion. Okay, that doesn't help.
We have a red cushion here, so it's not as red as this cushion. Just imagine a red cushion, and then it's not like that, but it's more like maybe like chestnut red kind of ish.
Yeah, so, that's better. So a reddish brown, but there's definitely red in there.
Yeah, and of course, like then they make it red because chestnut brownish octopus sounds kind of lame. Just let's hope they don't find a third kind that is even redder. We'll have the redder octopus.
That could be like cherry red octopus.
Yeah, or super red, or they rename the one now to something different.
That's also possible.
Because the one that is now called green octopus used to be just octopus. Whatever, identity crisis. But we didn't just get here, right? We just haven't gone seen the dinosaurs yet because we've been here a few times. But instead, before going to the cafe, we checked out a few other places.
Yeah, we went to the labs, for example.
True.
That's one of my favorite parts.
And I have to admit, I don't remember ever going to the labs.
I've not been there. So, I mean, I've been there several times, but we went today. And so I'll say what I liked. Maybe you say some. So one of the things I liked, there was this section where you had these drawers that you could pull out of cabinets. And in each drawer, there were many different either fossils or teeth or claws or whatever. And you had like a little book that you worked through, and you basically needed to match let's say the teeth, match them with what you found and see, okay, these ones are from this particular creature, these ones are from this other one, and then from the shapes of the teeth, okay, what kind of thing did that creature eat? Meat or plants or whatever. Crushing ones, for shellfish, that kind of thing. So that was pretty interactive. I enjoyed it. And they were the correct size, so it was a pretty big drawer taking out all these teeth. For yourself?
I liked the. I mean, there's several things I liked. What I thought was interesting were they didn't seem to be hiding anything or so. It's really, it seemed to be like the route that we walked. You could see inside all the labs through the windows. There just didn't happen to be doors on the route that we walked to, so you couldn't actually enter the labs from where we were.
But you could see what was going on.
Exactly, and I thought that was kind of interesting because people seem to be working. I've seen at least.
I presume it's one-way glass, that they aren't distracted by all these people walking by. Yeah. But exactly, we can watch them at work.
And I've seen
they're part of the exhibit.
Yeah, true. But I've seen at least 27 different devices that I really didn't know what they were doing.
They have equipment.
And of course, I'm always keeping my eye out for content for our podcast. We can record like 27 episodes in the labs, just
on each of their
one device after the other. This is the egg shaking device, and this is the whatever device. And the other thing I really liked was the bit afterwards. Like, there was in the same area where, as you were talking about before, where you could
candle samples.
No, the bit where we got little hammers and we could bang on the eggs.
Yeah,
and then there were a whole bunch of eggs there, and everybody just got to pick one, and it was kind of like a lottery. Initially, I just thought, oh, there's a bunch of baby dinosaurs in there, and you bang, and then, oh no, your egg is empty.
Yeah.
But apparently, in some, there were baby dinosaurs.
Right.
But at least in our group, nobody got one.
Sure.
I thought that was pretty cool.
So the hammer was more like just for knocking, you weren't like actually smashing the egg. Or were you smashing them?
Yeah, at least I did. Okay. I thought that was the whole idea, but it was empty inside.
That whatever is growing in there is ready.
Yeah, but there was nothing going in there.
I missed that part. I went to the toilet, I think, when you were in there. So.
Oh, you were still matching the...
all the teeth, yeah.
So those two things I really liked about the labs. You? Anything?
Yeah, another nice thing they had was you could look through these, what's it called, stereo microscopes. So microscope, but you have each eye looking through a different eyepiece. And watching these microorganisms, like you think of dinosaurs, you imagine these really huge ones, but they've also brought back like microorganisms from the same time as the dinosaurs. It's pretty fun watching them as well. So looking through the microscope, seeing them interact. And there was a thing where you could even feed them, so the things are so tiny, but effectively you have these tweezers, and you drop a little creature there, and then the other ones go, yum, 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 yum. munch it up.
Yeah, I thought that
they got it for scale, you know. Like everyone thinks, okay, millions of years ago, dinosaurs, tall as buildings, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yes, and there were also these much smaller creatures.
I think that one thing that I liked, and of course it was still in the labs, but it was more like entertainment, is the bit where they had where they were putting dinosaur bones together to build like a dinosaur. But sometimes they got up to a certain point and then they realized, no, this is all wrong.
Right. They'd mistaken some bones, thinking they were from the same creature, but actually they're from two different ones.
And then they were building this on a bit of a platform, and instead of then taking it down bit by bit again, the platform would just shake a bunch, and then all the bones would fall down, and they could start again. So they would just save time constructing a dinosaur. And then some of us got to stand on the platform, and then the guy with the long jacket, he just said, "Hold on to your butts," and then he pressed the button, and then it was all shaking. And then we all got to shake, and we got to feel what it was like to have all your bones drop down.
Right. I mean, and your own bones don't actually fall apart because you've got
Skin
skin around it all, but also, you know, like tendons and sinews and muscles or whatever holding you all together. But right, you could imagine if they weren't around, or maybe if it shook a little bit harder, your bones would also fall apart like the dinosaur bones.
That's true. Come to think of it, there was a lot of this interactive, entertaining kind of thing, and not so much actual lab stuff. It's like we didn't actually get to, you know, muck around in some petri dish or whatever. So it was like we weren't doing any lab work ourselves.
Not ourselves, I mean, we guess. Oh, visitors rather,
I like the museum part.
Right.
And so that's like after. Did we go after or did we go before?
I think it was like, so at least we go, I mean, it's a big museum, you can choose your route, but we went through a teeny bit first of the museum, then we were in the labs, and then we saw much more of the museum.
True. And then the museum, this was, for me, actually really relaxing, because they've documented everything nicely structured, and they had really like glass boxes for the really tiny animals and really big halls for the big animals, and then it was really nicely structured.
Yeah. What I really liked was, so okay, you know, it's a museum, so you have various signs on the wall, various plaques, you know, explaining what's going on. And what I really liked were where they were exhibits, and you know, in the past, those so before the dinosaurs were revived, those signs would have been basically guesswork by people, you know. But now they're actually informed. You know, they can ask dinosaurs that have been revived. You know, ask them about whatever the thing is, and then you can have a first-hand account. And so, okay, mostly it's little plaques, little signs around the place. Sometimes, if you used your Jones, you could listen to a guide, you know, an audio guide, basically, from the dinosaurs that were around at the time, talking about whatever the artifact or the skeleton or whatever the thing was, the exhibit.
Yeah. Did you notice the school group walking around? I joined them for a few minutes. They got, I guess it was a tour guide, was some old guy, and he was explaining bits, and he was explaining, and there was a little girl that kept interrupting him, telling what he was supposed to, what he was about to say. It's like, well, we're here with a new dinosaur, and she would say, Stegosaurus, you know, and then he would say, clever girl. And then they would move on, and then now we get to, and she would already yell what he was gonna. And then,
sure.
Clever girl.
Yeah. So she was really into the subject before she came here.
Totally, yeah. Really smart. And then we got thirsty, you know, we went to the cafe.
And now we're here. I've been here for a while, yeah.
Exactly. So before the recording, like we did order some things off the menu. Are you looking forward to any particular animals besides the red octopus?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. So one of the things I got here in the cafe was dinosaur poop coffee. You know, that's the thing where the coffee beans have gone through a dinosaur's digestive tract, come on out the other side, and then it gives it a certain zest, certain potency. So I'm looking forward to meeting those dinosaurs. I mean, not literally that dinosaur that went through it, but you know, the type of dinosaur that it went through.
When you ordered it, could you pick which kind of dinosaur, or was it just general?
Just the one.
Ah, okay, but it's
again not the one particular dinosaur. You know, just the one species.
Okay. So it's not. You can have like.
You can't go speak to Bob. and they tell you, you know.
But it's also not like all dinosaurs combined.
Sure.
It was really
No.
one specific dinosaur.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nicknamed Coffeesaurus, of course, but I think that's just a nickname.
True. I wonder if it then actually really exists, huh?
You mean I'm going to say yes. They
I'm
wouldn't,
also gonna say
make that
yes.
something up for a cafe.
No, exactly. It's like if it was, yeah, okay. I'm not sure if it's more appealing if it's fake or if it's real, but really creative at least.
Yeah, and yourself, are you looking forward to seeing any animals here?
I mean, whenever I'm here, I usually go visit the dinosaurs, and I've not given the megafauna much attention.
Right. Like the saber-toothed cats.
Yeah, but also like the mega sloth.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one I look forward to, because as far as I understood it, it's the youngest animal that is in the let's say the last animal of all the animals that they have here. It's the last animal that got extinct.
Right.
I think it even lasted until like the 14th century, 15th century.
Much more
or so.
recently than any dinosaur.
Exactly, so it's like one of the last remaining. I mean, there are still animals that survived until today. Apparently, crocodiles were apparently around during the time of the dinosaurs, but they're still there, so they don't count.
Sure.
You know, they were around in the prehistory, in the history, and we can already spoil it for our listeners. They're still around in the post-history. But the mega sloth, it was around in the megafauna time, and when all the megafauna died, they stayed.
Stuck around.
Yeah, and then they were apparently exterminated by the native South Americans or whatever.
Okay.
Like right before. Okay, this is a boring story.
Sure.
What I'm looking forward to is that like the mega sloth was so big it couldn't actually climb trees.
Right. Crawled along the ground.
Apparently,
Okay.
I'm looking forward to find out.
Yep.
Yeah. I think you mentioned before, and that's something that the museum and the theme park is about. It haven't really
capitalized on it yet.
Yeah,
Taken
exactly.
advantage of the fact.
That's the word. It's the fact that they were revived, but the animals have their original memories.
Yeah. Like, these aren't just clones. Like, I think even 200 years ago they had the capability to clone animals, and biologically it would be the same creature. I mean, in the sense it would have the same DNA, but it wouldn't have any of the same memories. Yeah? And that's not what's going on now, or here. Here it's a revival is a better word, because it's it's that creature specifically with its memories and so on, and its experiences and its stories that it can tell.
And that's I think that by itself, if we weren't able to speak with them, we wouldn't probably even know.
Correct.
But through our drones, we can actually communicate with animals if we want to. It's something that it's not very common, but it's possible. And then, especially in this case, they were around in the prehistory, or which is now becoming history, because we're finding out a whole bunch of things. Of course,
there's a whole lot of it, like hundreds of millions of years. So that's what I'm saying. There are gaps, but at least we're filling in the pieces.
At least we learn a bunch more. It's not like they say, I lived in Mexico or whatever, because of course Mexico at the time wasn't around.
Right.
And most
various
of it
continents were in different positions and such.
And of course we were running around and we were eating these guys and then explaining how they look like, because they don't say, we were eating Stegosaurus, because whatever, they didn't have those names. But still, you still find out a whole bunch of things. And then they will also say, this looks very different from our times. Okay, cool. Something learned. But have you spoken with them while you're here in past visits?
Right, not today, but I have in the past. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any interesting?
Well, I mean, off the top of my head, no. It's the thing where when you go to, so if you switch off your audios, you're in another place where people are speaking a language you don't know, and if you want, you can choose to imagine people having really interesting conversations. As soon as you switch on your audios, or if you know the language in the first place, I mean, some people are, and a whole lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
And so it's a similar thing when you talk with a dinosaur. It's not really about them, it's more about what you're talking about. If you get on the right subject, okay, it's really interesting. And often it's not.
Yeah. If you want to go into philosophy, they will just go like, whatever, I'm going to go check out those plants. Did you hear that?
I did, yeah.
That was really loud.
It was super loud, and it was like a siren or a klaxon or whatever you call that.
And there's There's definitely a bit of ruckus over there.
Yeah. Do you want to go check it out, or shall I?
Yeah, maybe you go check it out.
Sure.
I'll
go see what's up.
maybe they have a show.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a show.
Let's check out here. Want to go out the balcony, see if we can get a better view.
Sure.
Okay. Sounds like we best get out of here.
What are they saying?
I mean, I just heard something about a fire, and a lot of people running away from there, so...
Okay.
Should we go?
Yeah, let's do that. If
Take this with us.
and then, but there's also.
Oh, but wait. I mean, they say there's a fire, yeah, but there's no... It looks pretty different out there.
So I think I saw the red octopus there.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to. That's basically the central square.
Yeah, and
it's not supposed to go there.
Nope, and that whole fence has been torn away.
As you see, there's people running in all directions. I think maybe we stop recording.
Let's stop recording. We best go.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah, see you in 200 years or something.
Bye.
Bye-bye.